The Hallmarc Project Management Plan is divided into 5 parts, incorporating administration and quality, project operational controls, emergency preparedness and response, environmental management, and site establishment. The cover page and subsequent page footers must be made site-specific. The cover page should also be signed by the persons responsible for preparing, reviewing, approving and authorizing the document. Page 2. Table of Contents. Part 1. Administration and Quality. Page 3. Table of Contents. Part 2. Project Operational Controls. Page 4. Table of Contents. Part 3. Emergency Preparedness and Response. Page 5. Table of Contents. Part 4. Environmental Management. Part 5. Site Establishment and Appendices. Section 1.2.1. Review Register. Complete this table to demonstrate that the project management plan has been assessed for ongoing suitability. Section 1.2.2. Revision Register. Complete this section to summarize actual changes to the project management plan. The Hallmarc Project Management Plan will be audited annually, as a minimum, by senior management with formal training in accordance with ISO 19011.
Section 1.3. Purpose. This project management plan defines the management framework, processes, and controls to be applied throughout the lifecycle of this and all Hallmarc projects. Its purpose is to ensure that the project is delivered safely, on time, within budget, and in accordance with the required quality, regulatory, and contractual standards. The plan establishes the roles, responsibilities, and lines of authority for all project stakeholders and outlines the methodologies for managing scope, schedule, cost, quality, risk, communication, and change. It serves as the primary reference document guiding project execution, monitoring, and control. This PMP is a live document and will be reviewed and/or updated 12-monthly or earlier as necessary to reflect changes in project scope, objectives, conditions, or regulatory requirements. All project participants are expected to comply with the procedures and principles set out in this plan to ensure coordinated delivery and successful completion of the project. The project management plan will be reviewed and approved by Hallmarc Management and Chief Warden and signed on the cover page, or digitally on BuildPass. Hallmarc project team members with assigned responsibilities will acknowledge this by signing Section 1.6 the Project Organization Chart, or by signing digitally on BuildPass. Yellow highlighted text is that which must be made site-specific. Remove highlight when done. Gray highlighted text will represent a newly revised section of the plan. Gray text is suggested project evidence of compliance. Actual evidence should replace this in black. Text with a strikeout indicates that which is not applicable to the project, for example precast panels or demolition. A copy of the project management plan and site risk assessment will be forwarded to all project subcontractors and interested stakeholders. All subsequent revisions will also be forwarded. Changes and revisions will be communicated through email, BuildPass alerts and meetings. The Section 1.2.1 Revision Register and Section 1.2.2 Review Register will be completed accordingly. Individual pages of this plan can and should be displayed on site. For example, evacuation plans, maps, first aiders, contact information, appendices, etc. Hallmarc staff have been consulted with and given the ongoing opportunity to provide input and feedback concerning this project management plan. Section 1.4. Project Scope. The scope on screen is an example only. The project manager, when completing the project management plan, should provide a brief but nonetheless clear summary of the project. This would typically include the size, purpose, cost, program, client, and unique traits of the project.
Section 1.5. Project Objectives and Targets.
Section 1.6. Project Organization Chart. Section 1.7. Roles and Responsibilities. All staff are responsible to varying degrees for the effective implementation and operation of the project management plan. Section 1.7.1 Project Manager. Responsibilities include but are not limited to the following: manage construction and the overall program, including reporting to construction manager and various stakeholders as required. Oversee the overall on-site activities, progress, and construction sequence, including reporting to construction manager and various stakeholders as required. Develop and monitor project risk assessment. Oversee project budget. Manage design as required. Liaise with authorities as required. Liaise with consultants as required. Oversee and maintain OHS requirements on site. Make trade letting decisions. Review and approve subcontractor variations and progress claims. Maintain first aid and warden qualifications. Review coding of invoices and approve. Monthly project manager and SWIMS audits. Issue nonconformance notices to subcontractors. Facilitate dispute resolution. Issue site instructions to subcontractors. Manage weekly subcontractor site meetings. Manage monthly PCG meetings. Review and approve change orders on BuildPass. Section 1.7.2. Site Manager. Responsible for day-to-day running of the site. Responsibilities include but are not limited to the following: opening of the site daily to closing the site, which includes ensuring the closing and locking of all amenity buildings, storage containers, and units. Manage on-site activities and provide updated reporting to project manager and contracts administrator weekly with regards to progress against construction schedule. Complete site inductions of all contractors and tradesmen working on site on BuildPass. Oversee and maintain OH&S requirements and standards on site. Maintain and complete daily site diary on BuildPass. Assist and monitor with site housekeeping report to PM and CA at regular intervals. SWIMS audits for contractors working through tasks. Conduct site safety inspections. Issue site instructions to subcontractors as required. Maintain first aid and warden qualifications. Facilitate dispute resolution. Assist project manager with weekly subcontractor site meetings. Manage housekeeping for site sheds and site. Manage day labor workforce as required. Maintain first aid supplies. Manage ordering of consumables for site sheds, lunchroom and amenities. And scheduled safety inspections. Section 1.7.3. Contract Administrator. Responsibilities include but are not limited to the following: manage and administer major subcontracts, minor subcontracts, and purchase orders. Manage and maintain project budgets against site progress. Enter estimates and commitments into BuildPass. Enter change orders on BuildPass. Assist with site housekeeping. Assist project manager with weekly subcontractor site meetings. Assist project manager with monthly PCG meetings. Review and assess subcontractor variations. Maintain letting schedule. Maintain purchase order. Review and assess subcontractor variations. Maintain letting schedule. Maintain purchase orders and delivery. Review and assess subcontractor progress claims. Assessing and coding all invoices. Manage and assess subcontractor SWIMS and insurances, including uploading into BuildPass. And safety walk. Review and assess subcontractor progress claims. Assessing and coding all invoices. Manage and assess subcontractor SWIMS and insurances, including uploading into BuildPass. And safety walks, SWIMS and insurances, including uploading into BuildPass, and safety walks. Section 1.7.4 Project Coordinator. Responsibilities include but are not limited to the following: assist site manager, project manager, and CA with day-to-day duties. Complete site inductions of all contractors in BuildPass. Maintain site induction register on BuildPass. Maintain SWIMS register on BuildPass. Assist the site manager to oversee and maintain OH&S requirements on site. Assist with site housekeeping. Assist the site manager with SWIMS audits. Safety walks with the site manager. Assist with management of housekeeping for site sheds and site. Assist with management of day labor workforce as required. Assist with management and maintenance of first aid supplies. And assist with management in ordering of consumables for site sheds, lunchroom and amenities. Section 1.7.5 Site foreperson. Responsibilities include but are not limited to the following: assist the site manager, PM, and CA with day-to-day duties. Complete site inductions of all contractors in BuildPass. Maintain site induction register on BuildPass. Maintain the SWIMS register on BuildPass. Assist the site manager to oversee and maintain OH&S requirements on site. Assist with site housekeeping. Assist the site manager with SWIMS audits. Safety walks with site manager. Assist with management of housekeeping for site sheds and site. Assist with management of day labor workforce as required. Assist with the management and maintenance of first aid supplies. And assist with management in ordering of consumables for site sheds, lunchroom and amenities. Section 1.7.6 Hallmarc Labourer. Responsibilities include but are not limited to the following: assist the site manager and foreperson with day-to-day duties. Assist the site manager and foreperson to oversee and maintain OH&S requirements on site. Assist with site housekeeping. Safety walks with the site manager and foreperson. Assist with management of housekeeping for site sheds and site. Assist with management of day labor workforce as required. Assist with management and maintenance of first aid supplies. Assist with management in ordering of consumables for site sheds, lunchroom and amenities. Section 1.8 Training and Induction. All personnel, including contractors and consultants, are required to complete the project-specific online induction via the BuildPass app prior to attending site. All visitors are required to register on BuildPass upon arrival to site. A QR code is displayed for this purpose. Visitors do not need to complete the induction as they will be always escorted when on site. The project-specific inductions include the following items: site hours and conditions, quality, OH&S, and environmental issues, emergency procedures such as the location of evacuation points, escape routes, nurse call use, reporting requirements in cases of problems such as safety concerns and incidents, environmental breaches, and defect suggestions and rework or non-conformances, amenities and housekeeping, individuals' responsibilities, hazard reporting, and safe working requirements. Section 1.9 Contractors and Suppliers Monitoring. Contractors and suppliers have been selected based on their ability to deliver product and services, and to assist us in demonstrating compliance to relevant quality, safety, and environmental requirements. Supplier subcontractors' performance is monitored daily and more formally during site inspections that are recorded in BuildPass. Section 1.10 Project Controls. Section 1.10.1 System Processes. Hallmarc's IMS processes provide the framework for the development of all project controls. Section 1.10.2 Project Risk Management. The project manager and/or the site manager will document the project risk assessment to assist in mitigating the known project hazards and risks, and to identify and determine the controls to be developed and implemented on the project. All controls will be developed in accordance with the hierarchy of controls, as well as the statutory regulations relevant to the project scope. The project risk assessment will assist in identifying possible emergency scenarios. Identified emergency scenarios are addressed in sections 3.7 to 3.16 of the PMP. Elimination will always be the first option considered when developing project controls. The project manager and/or the site manager will ensure the IMS processes and any project-specific controls, such as safe work method statements, action plans, etc., are implemented and, where required, reviewed and accepted for use on site prior to the related activities commencing. All personnel on site share the responsibility for identifying new risks and performing risk assessments as required for inclusion into the project risk register. All published acts, regulations, compliance codes, industry standards, and Australian standards are minimum Hallmarc standards. Section 1.10.3. Project communication is found to be out of calibration. It is to be recalibrated and repaired as necessary with staff and contractors when on the project previous results. Section 1.10.8 Toolbox details of management reviews and training used in measuring and testing compliance in consultation with the site manager to provide safety bulletins, project management plan and the project risk assessment section part of the audit schedule when significant change to site occurs or 12-monthly intervals as a minimum. The project personnel are encouraged to participate in the monitoring activities following ensuring effectiveness of quality, safety, and environmental controls on site and activity. Incident investigation or outcomes. Section 1.10 from relevant stakeholders and management changes to applicable legislative requirements. The auditor is result and outcomes of inspection and maintain and provide evidence of conformity to outcomes from toolbox maintenance plan and the IMS are recorded in build pass. Records shall be legible, readily identifiable, stored so as to be easily conducted, be protected from downside and deterioration or senior manager audits at minimum 3 monthly intervals. Records may be hard copy or electronic. For example, manager shall conduct or be involved in build pass side and associated project manager audits at the relevant monthly intervals. SWIMs are generally uploaded to build pass. Manager shall conduct or be involved in origin side identifications and their distribution audits at minimum fortnightly intervals.
The required document.
Section 1.10 shall conduct or be involved in build pass site inspections at minimum weekly intervals and test equipment.
This page contains
all inspection testing and monitoring equipment used to demonstrate compliance and conformity is calibrated to the manufacturer's requirements and proven maintained in good order to ensure its ongoing reliability and accuracy. They are recorded in calibration and maintenance. The site manager will investigate the non-conformance to determine the root cause, appropriate corrective action and preventative action to prevent reoccurrence.
Precast and tilt-up concrete for
will be closed out by the
industry
PM
standard.
After reviewing the effectiveness of any corrective and preventative action and recording objective evidence in build pass to support the closure.
Using powered mobile plant near
any improvements to controls or identified hazards are to be documented, such as in this plan, guidance, project risk assessment, action
and the
plan,
Occupational
or SWIMs.
Health and Safety Regulations 2017. Section 1.10.9 continues with compliance codes for hazardous manual handling, first aid in the workplace, plant, demolition, facilities in construction, removing asbestos in workplaces, prevention of falls in general construction, hazardous substances, excavation, and noise. And to complete section 1.10.9 there are links to Compliance Code, Managing Asbestos in Workplaces, Compliance Code, Confined Spaces, Safe Concrete Cutting and Drilling, Industry Standard, Elevating Work Platforms, Industry Standard, Concrete Pumping, Piling Work and Foundation Engineering Sites, A Guide to Managing Safety, Code of Practice, the Storage and Handling of Dangerous Goods, Health and Safety in Temporary Traffic Management, Building Regulations 2018, and the Pocket Guide for Construction Safety.
Section 1.11. Inspection and Test Plans, ITPs. ITPs are quality control documents that define what will be inspected or tested, when, how, by whom, and to what acceptance criteria during construction activities. These will be used to ensure work complies with contract, codes, and standards. The project manager will define what ITPs are required at the commencement of the project and will review requirements on an ongoing basis. To access ITPs in BuildPass, follow forms. ITP. Start form. Form type. Section 1.12. WHS Consultation Statement. Commitment. Hallmarc is committed to protecting the health and safety of all workers. We acknowledge that worker input is essential for identifying hazards and finding practical safety solutions. When we consult, we will consult with workers when identifying workplace hazards and assessing risks, making decisions on how to eliminate or minimize those risks, proposing changes to the workplace, work systems, or equipment, developing safety procedures or training programs. How we consult. Consultation will occur through the following channels: Toolbox Talks, safety meetings held every Friday morning, weekly site meeting, OH&S as lead agenda item, safety committees, formal meetings held quarterly with management and worker representatives, HSR representation. Workers may raise issues through their elected health and safety representative. Suggestion box, a physical or digital safety feedback form for anonymous reporting. The consultation process. For any safety matter, Hallmarc will share information, provide all relevant data such as risk assessments in a timely manner, and allow feedback, giving workers a reasonable opportunity to express views and contribute to decisions. Take views into account. Genuinely consider all feedback before making a final decision. Communicate outcomes. Notify workers of the final decision and the reasons behind it. Issue resolution. If a safety issue cannot be resolved through normal consultation, the parties will follow the Workplace Issue Resolution procedure as outlined in the WHS Act and in the Hallmarc Project Management Plan. Section 1.13. BuildPass. Hallmarc uses BuildPass software to manage inductions, SWIMs, signing in, permits, inspections, audits, ITPs, site diaries, incident reporting, documentation, and drawings.
Section 1.14. Meetings. A schedule for meetings should be agreed upon early on in the project. This is an example only but may form the basis of a meeting schedule for most projects. Look to schedule, site meetings, PCG meetings, toolbox meetings, Director and HSEQ update meetings, subcontractor meetings, and design meetings. Section 1.15. OH&S Management System Review. The IMS will be reviewed for ongoing effectiveness and legislation changes, yearly, by a director or the HSEQ manager. The Project Management Plan template will be reviewed for ongoing effectiveness and legislation changes, yearly, or earlier as required by a director or the HSEQ manager. The Project Risk Assessment template will be assessed for ongoing effectiveness and legislation changes, yearly or earlier, as required by a director or the HSEQ manager. Keys documents within the Hallmarc OH&S management system are reviewed and assessed regularly for ongoing purpose and effectiveness. The documentation will be reviewed by Hallmarc senior management with training in ISO 190011 or similar.